Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the College Football Podcast from CollegePressbox.com. We are brought to you by CheezIt and Pop-Tarts. My name is Jim Capuano. I'm with College Pressbox, and my co-host, colleague, and friend is TJ Troup. TJ, want to say hey?
Good evening, everybody.
TJ is a football historian, a football coach, a teacher of the game, student of the game, and an author. He's published 3 books. He's a weekly contributor to the Pro Football Journal, and we are grateful for his knowledge, his expertise, and his time, and his sense of humor here with us today. So TJ, thank you for joining, and what do you say we get the party started here? Is that all right?
Let's do it.
All right, beautiful. We're going to start off with the CheezIt Crunch Time Play of the Week. I don't know about you, but CheezIts for me are always a good selection. This play is from the Texas Longhorns game on the road against the Mississippi State Bulldogs. And it features an incredible punt return, to tie the game. And the punt returner is Ryan Niblett, number 21, and he ran 75 yards in the fourth quarter to tie the game. And the Longhorns went on to win 45-38 in overtime, overcoming having a 24-point fourth quarter and overcoming a 17-point fourth quarter deficit. So it was an amazing comeback by the Longhorns. But let's get to the video, and then TJ, you could talk to us about what we see in the video. Sound good?
Absolutely.
All right, let's get it rolling here.
Dangerous punt returner is back there, and another bomb by Bulliam, and Niblett's back near the 23. Gets the sideline. Niblett! He's gone! Touchdown, Texas!
Incredible, and great balance, great athleticism by Ryan Niblett. What did you see in that play, TJ?
From a coach's perspective, here they are, and every coach wants the kicking game to help them. So when the ball is in the air, we all see that Niblett is going to have room to run. He catches it, and we see him go to his left. But as he heads towards the sideline, what I'd like to point out is number 51, Marshall Landwehr. He's a senior backup linebacker. His contribution to the team is obviously the last few years been on special teams. And it's not one of those great decleater blocks, but he gets in the way on the sideline, and Niblett uses him and cuts past him. And once he is by good old Marshall and is headed down the sideline, he picks up speed, and 75 yards later, he is in the end zone.
He certainly is, and I am showing a slow motion replay here of the video. There's Niblett right there crossing midfield. In front of him to his right, and he's looking right at its back, is number 51. He levels number 88, it looks like, and then he springs him loose, and then Niblett gets by one more guy, and he is home free, baby. So great call out, TJ, on a wonderful block. And that gentleman's name again, that young man who made that springing block?
Well, if I'm pronouncing his last name correctly, it's Marshall Landwehr.
Marshall Landwehr. Congrats on a job well done, and congrats to the Texas Longhorns and Ryan Niblett specifically for his 75-yard punt return that tied up the game at 38 and led to the Longhorns having an opportunity to close it out in overtime over the Bulldogs. All right, TJ, that's awesome. Thank you for that. And let's turn a corner and talk about the game of the week that you had focused on last week going in to week 9. And that was LSU hosting Texas A&M. What do you want us? What's your analysis of that game?
Teams historically going into, as they call it, Death Valley, have struggled. And there is no doubt that Coach Kelly brought his boys out ready to play. I mean, they had an 18-14 lead. They were playing hard, and they were good enough on offense to have the lead. I'm going to go very briefly to their defense. They recorded no sacks in the game, and I was not impressed by their front seven. Of course, part of that could have been the offensive line of Texas A&M. They blocked very well. But the one player that stood out to me for LSU was their free safety, number 13, A.J. Halsey. 12 tackles and an interception. Excellent in pursuit. Of course, I'm not an NFL scout, but I would think that there's going to be some NFL teams taking a good long look at him.
Yeah.
As for Texas A&M,
go
ahead.
No. I'm just confirming what you said, just reaffirming it. Yeah, an outstanding game. 12 tackles. Nobody was even close on either side.
Right.
Yeah.
Texas A&M, obviously, when a team lines up in a 4-2-5 defense as their base defense, you are asking your front six to limit the run and rush the passer. Well, Texas A&M has got some boys who can do that. They registered 7 sacks in the game. I was surprised when I saw his weight listed in the program. Cassius Howell, number 9. I mean, one program had him listed as a right defensive end, but whatever you want to call him, stand-up outside linebacker, that young man can rush the quarterback. He was in the backfield all night and had 2 sacks. He was joined by number 18, the left defensive end, Searcy. He brushed the passer. Torian York, their middle linebacker, had a strong game. And Dalton Brooks, at strong safety, had a strong game. But I did not see anyone that did not play at least a decent game on the Texas A&M defense. But my question is, when I watch Texas A&M again, was the reason for their front seven having so much success that the LSU offensive line decided they wanted to look like 5 blocks of silly putty in trying to pass block?
I don't know, but silly putty. You can do a lot with silly putty, but one thing you can't do is stop an onrushing lineman or linebacker. Not what you want to be noted for. Five blocks of silly putty. So yeah, you're right. I mean, it was a dominant affair by A&M in the second half, especially. Just absolutely. They scored on 3 consecutive drives to open the second half. Texas A&M did, and then scored again right before the end of the game when the game was well in hand. So they really got it together after having committed 2 back-to-back turnovers at the end of the first half. So that led to 10 points for LSU. So a great job by A&M. And what's interesting about them too is this is the middle game of a 3-game road trip that they are playing. The Aggies. They played Arkansas last week in Fayetteville. They won by 3, 45-42. It was their first road game in 3 weeks, in a month. And then last week at LSU, a demolishing of LSU, and then this coming week, they're at Missouri, which can be a tough place to play. But what's your take on the Aggies overall?
Well, I'll know more about them later, but I was very impressed. And to kind of put a ribbon on this package, I can't give you how many times it's happened, but I wonder how many times LSU has been outscored in the second half of a home game, 35-0. And we know what that led to, but down the road, we possibly could see that Texas A&M is really that good. And I'm hoping when the playoff matchups come up later, we could possibly see Texas A&M play Indiana.
Yeah, that would really be something, wouldn't it? Two outstanding programs. You're a big Coach Signetti fan, so that would be great to see, and we can only hope that'll be the case. But congrats to the Aggies on an outstanding road victory, and we'll see what they can do to back it up as they head to Mizzou. All right, TJ. What do you say we talk a little bit about the Pop-Tarts Crazy Good Team of the Week last week, which was the Houston Cougars, who were on the road at Arizona State, and they jumped out to a 24 to nothing lead. The Cougars did, and then they held on to win 24 to 16. So that is running their record to 7-1, and it's their first road victory over a ranked opponent, which ASU was ranked 24 heading into the game since 2017. So it's been a long time for the Cougars to win a big game on the road, and for that, they are this week's Pop-Tarts Crazy Good Team of the Week. Anything about the Cougars game that caught your eye?
I only saw highlights. Obviously, they showed when they got out to the big lead, but since their record is so good, I jumped ahead to look at their schedule.
Mm-hmm.
And their last 5 games of the season, the total record of their upcoming opponents is 6 wins and 13 losses. Now, that doesn't mean that they're going to win all these games, but they sure have done what every coach hopes for. They position themselves to put themselves in the race for a playoff berth.
Mm-hmm. Yes, indeed. Yeah, they have, and yeah, they've got. Yeah, they got a. It's interesting. That whole Big 12 is a fascinating conference to watch. They have competitive games usually, and we'll see what they could do. But they definitely have sort of their fate, sort of their destiny in their own hands. And I think you've got a saying for that, correct? Or a coach of yours that you used to play with, a team that you played on?
Yes.
Yeah, what is that? Talk about that a little bit. It's pretty cool.
Well, and it can be phrased in many different ways, but you want to, control your own destiny. Or, as my college coach used to say, it's there.
It's
I mean,
there.
just that
Yeah.
2-word, it's there.
Uh-huh.
And it's just a question of, okay, if we take him serious and we believe in ourselves and you win one, yeah, not only was it there, but we took care of it. And now it's next week and he gets to say the same thing again.
Yeah, I love it. It is great. It's there. And the Houston Cougars are here this week as the Pop-Tarts Crazy Good Team of the Week. So good luck to them the rest of the way. All right, TJ, this is great. We've got Week 10 coming up, if you can believe it, here in in the college football season. What about this week especially captures your attention?
For the first time this year, I'm going to go back and forth between 2 games.
Mm.
And I'm going to detail a little bit about Vanderbilt in a second.
Okay.
But Vandy plays Texas. So we're going to see if Texas can keep some of their momentum going. And that's at noon on Saturday for me. And then the other one, and of course, it could be the light at the end of the tunnel is an oncoming train for Penn State, but they play the Buckeyes of Ohio State.
Mm.
So with their situation now, we're going to see if those youngsters for the Nittany Lions that have such a storied history can come out and play a rock-solid, hard-hitting game from beginning to end, because they are obviously facing a quality team. So I'm going to be going back and forth between a Big Ten game and a Southeast Conference, which will take me to Vandy. And one play I'd really like to detail.
Go ahead.
Hopefully I'm going to say his name correctly. McKeelan Young, running back for Vandy. The score's tied 3-3, 3:51 of the third quarter, and both guards pull and go left towards the boundary. So the wide side of the field's to the right.
Okay.
Well, they give the ball to young Mr. Young, and he starts sweeping right. Well, having coached it, teaching wide receivers to block on the perimeter is a real challenge. and they do a real fine job of getting in the way and sealing the defenders. And Young, who has outstanding speed, he turns the corner and he goes up that sideline. And anytime you have an 80-yard touchdown run, and it was 3-3 before, it might put a little motivation into your teammates.
Yeah.
And Vandy goes on and wins the game. So from a strategic point of view, the creativity to call that. Now, that's a play you cannot call that many times in a game. It's the sucker play, it's the misdirection play, whatever you want to, terminology you want to use, but talk about calling it at the right time and having it work. So I need to take a good long look at Vandy.
You know, that was the first touchdown of that game. It was, as you said, it was a 3-3 tie late in the third quarter. And yeah, it was a one-play, 80-yard, 13-second drive by on that play. So describe that again, that play. I don't have video on it, but if you could kind of describe it again. And from a defensive standpoint, I imagine they're chasing the guards, right? Because the guards are pulling going to the left, you said, correct? So they're expecting the action to go to the left.
Yes. Well, back to the dawn of time of early football, defensive players, even in early defenses, were taught to key the guards. Whichever way the guards go, you go.
Uh-huh.
I mean, we can take that all the way through all the different generations to a guy named Lombardi, who had his, sweep play. So you can run, as I called it earlier, the sucker play where the guards pull and go one direction, but the runner is going the opposite direction. So the linebackers in keying the play are going completely away from the running back.
Right.
And especially as fast as this youngster is, they're never going to be able to turn around and pursue. So it all comes down to the wide receivers blocking downfield. And as I mentioned earlier, they do a real fine job of getting enough of the defenders that he can turn the corner and away he goes.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a great call, great play, great execution. It's interesting because he had only 4 carries, Michaelan Young, for 86 yards. 80 of those 86 yards came on that one touchdown run. So the other 3 totaled 6 yards. So something to be mindful of as they roll into Austin, Texas, to play Texas. So that'll be a fun game to watch. And yeah, we'll see Penn State and the Buckeyes. We'll see what happens with that. It certainly is worth keeping an eye on as the Nittany Lions are coming into this game on a 4-game losing streak, and of course Ohio State unbeaten and ranked number 1 in the country. All right, TJ, awesome. Thank you very much for that. Let's turn a corner now and talk a little bit about anything else on your mind, pro football or World Series, anything else.
Well, very briefly to finish up with college football, I've got a great quote from Coach Campbell at Iowa State.
Okay.
Obviously, the season has gone south for them. One of those classic football names, the quarterback for BYU, Bear Bachmeier. Iowa State is ahead 24-10, and the Bear comes out of hibernation, and they outscore them 31-3 the rest of the way. So 2 weeks from now, November the 8th, in a game that will have a direct impact on that conference's standings, is I'm going to watch Texas Tech against BYU. And as I've mentioned every week, and I appreciate you allowing me to give a shout out to John Turney's website, the Pro Football Journal.
Absolutely.
I have an article this week that details with Defensive Player of the Year, a little bit about Myles Garrett and the great game he had last Sunday, a little bit about a gentleman by the name of Richard Marvin Butkus. A few of you out there might have heard of him.
Oh.
And, of course, we've got another slate of NFL games. And to finish up, I'm sitting here in my Buffalo Bills sweatshirt because the Bills play the Chiefs this week. and has been the last 3-4 years. That is must-see football for all the NFL fans out there when the Bills play the Chiefs.
It certainly is. You have two amazing quarterbacks and fierce competitors going at each other, and one of the greatest coaches of all time, and certainly the best active coach right now in Andy Reid. But on the sidelines for the resurgent and not quite dead yet Kansas City Chiefs. So it's funny, isn't it funny how a team stumbles out of the gate, even though they have excellent pedigree and excellent coaching, and people are jumping off the bandwagon, like it's on fire. I mean, it's and here they are, the Chiefs looking as good as ever. Or not, I mean, it's just funny to me, the overreaction of fans and media. I'd say more so media than, well, both. I mean, they feed each other. But um, do you see humor in that? I bet you do, TJ.
Yes, absolutely. Any coach who is experienced and has endured a couple of seasons where it didn't start out well but finished strong, once you face it again, you just try and calm the youngsters down and tell them, we just need to go to the practice field and work hard and I still believe in you. Let's go win some games.
Yeah.
The Chiefs' schedule is a little tougher coming up. They've got some tough opponents, but we're talking about a gentleman in Andy Reid that learned his football at BYU, and look at the career he's gone on and the places he's been and the big games he's been in, from an assistant with Green Bay and head coach with both the Eagles and the Chiefs. I mean, I'm sure those players know that he understands what's going on. And he's got an excellent defensive coordinator, and they have, now that they've got a couple of their weapons, I'll use that terminology, weapons back on offense, we're going to see just if Mr. Mahomes can keep this going for him. But like I say, they face some tough games coming up.
Yeah.
But they know how to win.
Yeah.
That's the simple way to say it.
Yeah.
After the last few years, the Kansas City Chiefs know how to win.
Yes, they do. That's awesome. And we win by being with you, TJ. Thank you very much for getting together, sharing your insight and expertise on the games from last week, what to look for in a couple of games this week, and even a bonus game 2 weeks down the road. So we'll look forward to that. And thank you very much, TJ. It's great being with you. Remember, everybody, every game goes better with some Pop-Tarts and some CheezIt, so grab some of those, put your feet up, watch the games, have a great time, and be with us next week as we take a look at what will be Week 10 of the college football season here at the College Football Podcast from CollegePressbox.com. Thank you very much. Be well, be safe. So long, everybody.